Hello and welcome. Today we are going to be looking at an interesting similarity between a song by Panic at the Disco and a song from In the Heights. Content warning though, I use the word goddamn pretty frequently in this video, so if that's not your thing, please check out one of my other videos or maybe check out this video which talks about In the Heights and Hamilton. So without further ado, I'm Dr. Zach. Grab a cup of tea and join me. All right, so for today, we're going to listen to the songs to really get a good understanding of the topic. Here goes this moment in Panic at the Disco song, I Write Sins, Not Tragedies.
I chime in with a haven't you people ever heard of closing a goddamn door? No, it's not.
Okay, so what we're focusing on is that phrase, closing the goddamn door. Let's listen again.
I chime in, haven't you people ever heard of closing a goddamn door? No.
All right, so here's a song from In the Heights called Blackout. Now listen carefully.
Better open these goddamn somebody better open these goddamn
So, pretty similar, right? I wanted to talk about some of the similarities between these two. So, number one, they're both pretty upbeat and have a quick tempo. Also, if you look at the melody of these, they both start high and end low. In the case of Blackout, it's open these goddamn doors, right? And in this case of Panic at the Disco, closing the goddamn door, right? It says that same kind of motion where it starts high and goes lower. The rhythm is much more syncopated in both of these before you get to goddamn door, where then that's the thing that gets kind of a consistent rhythm. Even then though, the Panic at the Disco song is syncopated at that point, and Blackout from In the Heights is not syncopated, it's right on the beat. Panic at the Disco song, right? Closing the goddamn door, right? It's off the beat, off of where my claps are. The goddamn door, right? Whereas in Blackout from In the Heights, it's somebody better open these goddamn doors, right? It's with the clap now. Open these goddamn doors. Rhythm before there was a little off, but you get the point. So then, let's talk about the differences. Now that we see that they sound really similar and found some reasons why, the differences are, of course, instrumentation, right? The Panic at the Disco song has guitars, drums, all of this kind of action. There's also, the singer and some backup vocals. Whereas with In the Heights, we don't get the guitar. We do have some drums in there, but we also then have like the musical chorus backing everything up with different words and different kind of textures going on underneath it. So that's a pretty major difference already right there. And then also there is a slight difference in the contour. From Blackout, we get somebody better open these. So it starts high, ba da 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 da, then it jumps back up. Goddamn doors. In Panic at the Disco, it goes up again before goddamn. Now, haven't you ever heard of closing the goddamn door? Now, my singing was probably not great there, so let's go ahead and listen to that one more time.
I chime in, haven't you people ever heard of closing a goddamn door? No.
Right, so it does go back up on heard of, whereas with Blackout, it's just kind of a descent, constant descent before it jumps up to goddamn again. So with all of these similarities, I was kind of thinking, why isn't anyone really talking about this? We've had a lot of kind of controversy around copyright in similar sounding songs these past few years. So why is this one that I've never really seen in mainstream discussion? And I think the reason is, one of these is a pop song and the other is from a musical. So when you have a pop song on the radio and you hear it a lot, it's always coming on, it's very frequent, then you are more attuned to the differences or the similarities between songs. Whereas with this, it's part of a musical, it's, in the middle of an act, and there's, just the one line that kind of sounds similar. So unless you listen to it a lot, you probably wouldn't even pick up on it. I mean, the context is pretty different, like we talked about with the instruments and the chorus and everything. I think that's the reason why no one else has really brought this up before. Now we have to think, is this plagiarism? did Lin-Manuel Miranda steal or sample Panic at the Disco? Because in Hamilton, Lin-Manuel Miranda samples a lot of things and goes into depth about it. I couldn't find a record of this being a sample, so I don't think that this was intentionally sampled. But does that mean that it was then plagiarism? Well, first we got to see if that's even possible, right? If Panic at the Disco wrote this song before In the Heights was released, then you could maybe make a case that Lin-Manuel Miranda heard it and put it in the song either intentionally or unintentionally, right? Which also sometimes happens in music. So first, let's look at when In the Heights had its Broadway debut. In the Heights premiered on Broadway July 23rd, 2005. That's the official premiere date, not all the workshop stuff which happened before and we'll talk about in a little bit. I Write Sins Not Tragedies was also released in 2005. So you're thinking then maybe like that'd be completely coincidental. Both songs released in 2005 had this line about a goddamn door. We can now look though at the demo. So a little while ago, Lin-Manuel Miranda released the demos of In the Heights that were made back in 2000, I think, right? So well before the song by Panic at the Disco was released. So this might be some clarity, right? Oh, well, if that line isn't here, then clearly like that wasn't part of the music scene at the time and something that could have influenced Lin-Manuel Miranda. And maybe then there might be even a case that somebody from Panic at the Disco heard this in a workshop or something and worked it into a song. Who knows, right? Kind of musical influences can come in from all sorts of different angles when you're an avid listener. Let's go ahead and check out Blackout. And if we scan real quick through this, we see that there is nothing about closing a goddamn door. There's something that says, keep the door locked, pushing and shoving. Here we go. So there really isn't anything that's similar to the goddamn door line. So then here's the next piece of the puzzle. What year was the cast recording released? And that is on June 3rd, 2008. It is common for Broadway shows, or shows kind of generally speaking, to go through revisions even after they've kind of had a premiere. Some things might get cut or changed or added or whatever. Usually it's nothing like major. That's what the workshop period is kind of for. But it is possible that either like this line was heard at some point by Lin-Manuel Miranda listening to Panic at the Disco, and it worked its way into the musical just by happenstance, or maybe it's all a big coincidence. I am leaning towards it's a big coincidence because not only have we seen these differences between the songs, but think about how you say that phrase. God damn, right? If I just say that when I'm frustrated about something, I start high and I end low. And that's what both of these creators did, right? At Panic at the Disco, closing the goddamn door, right? It goes high and ends low. And in Blackout, somebody better open this goddamn door, right? That's just how you say that phrase, is you start high and you end low. So to confirm this, I looked at a couple of songs that do the same sort of thing, all right? So let's look at those now. All right, so the first song we're going to look at is this piece by Drive-By Truckers. It's called Goddamn Lonely Love. Let's see how they fit the phrase goddamn into the music.
Well, this goddamn lonely love. Well, this goddamn lonely love.
All right, this goddamn, higher to lower. Goddamn lonely, goddamn. And again, a similar jump up to that word God, right? And then coming down. So really similar setting for that word. Let's also look at this song.
So goddamn.
All right, that was like right on the money. Let's back it up a little bit. All right, so same kind of thing. So goddamn, right? Higher to lower, even including a jump to it. So goddamn. So that's interesting, right? Very similar setting. And what I'm trying to prove with this is that the way we say words and phrases has an impact on how we put them into music. As I stated before, it's typical if you were just speaking to somebody, you would say, God damn, right? You would have that higher to lower kind of sound. So when we hear this in the music, while the intervals have been a little bit different, goddamn door, well, goddamn, right? There's different notes there that they're going to. Generally, they're starting higher and they're going lower. So with that, is this all that we have? Is this the only way that you can put goddamn in a song is by going from higher to lower? Are we just locked into this rule? Well, the answer is no, of course not, because there are no rules in music, right? So I wanted to listen to a couple other songs so you could hear how other artists have decided to set this word. All right, so here is our first song where the setting's a little bit different. All right, so in this case, it's actually the same pitch. God damn. And what the artist has done is actually added a drop to the first one. God damn. So you do get a similar kind of drop like we would when we say it and like we've seen in these other songs. But ultimately, the pitch is the same. So it's kind of like a hybrid between the two. God damn. Let's listen to that again. Yeah, so there's kind of a drop, and it's more of a slide into the second pitch as well, right? So there's one option that's a little bit different. Now let's listen to another option. So in this case, definitely the same two pitches. God damn. And in fact, they even go up on the second one, right? So no ambiguity here. It is the same two pitches, and then with a rise at the end rather than like a fall. Going back to the original question, is this plagiarism? In my opinion, no, it's not. I think that the contrast between the instrumental and the contour are enough to distinguish these two apart. The contour is kind of a picky thing because there's really like that one change. Panic at the Disco goes down and up and then does the goddamn, versus Blackout just continually goes down and then jumps back up for the goddamn. So like that's a really picky detail, but I think in popular music or kind of these popular type songs, you really have to be picky with the small details because there's more limited musical material and we have to like look for these small differences rather than like a huge change. Even then, I think the instrumentation is that huge change, right? If you were listening to these two out of context, you actually would not confuse one for the other because in the Heights song, we have the chorus in the background that's, saying all these different words versus in the Panic at the Disco song, there is none of that kind of background chorus. There are backup vocals, but that's, a different kind of texture. And we also get that, really driving sound of the electric guitar, which is missing in the Heights song. So between like all of those things, I think that, the context is different enough that it doesn't count as plagiarism or would not be considered like a copyright infringement. So in conclusion, similarities are going to happen in music. There are going to be some things that sound like other things. That's just how it is with music, especially popular music or popular like songs. For example, a lot of the songs from In the Heights, right? Are based on kind of these Latin rhythms and is trying to sound more like the popular music of Lin-Manuel Miranda's kind of culture and heritage. So what's not important is that things sound similar. What's more important is the context that these elements appear in, right? And we talked about the context of Panic at the Disco versus In the Heights is pretty drastically different. And I feel like a lot of artists tend to get very protective over things they've created. Like they feel like, oh, I made this song that uses the word goddamn in a particular way. And then what's even more striking between the examples we looked at is its goddamn door. However, you can't own like an expression, right? You can't own the way that words and phrases are spoken, which is, as we saw, kind of what's happening here. Starting high and going low with goddamn is not an uncommon thing. I know we didn't look at a ton of songs, but I had to, keep it to a small sample just so we wouldn't have a really long video. But if you wanted to, look at other examples of how goddamn is used in a song, I would not be surprised if you saw more cases where it went high and then came down low later to match that goddamn kind of phrasing. In my opinion, that's like starting high and going low is it's a common thing. It's not really something that you can copyright because you can't copyright words and phrases and how people speak them like that, right? And that's really, in my opinion, that's really what's influencing how the words are set to the music. And of course, you wouldn't confuse one for the other. So I don't see a problem with these like similarities here. I don't think there would be a case for copyright infringement based on the musical material alone. I don't think that either Panic or Lin-Manuel Miranda listened to each other and thought, oh, that's a great riff, I'm going to use it in my project. I think it's just how the words are spoken, how composers set words to music, that we have this kind of coincidence. So I hope you enjoyed the video today. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. I hate them with a haven't you ever heard?